Shalom, everybody. The Global Intifada is in progress. So now what? Well, on November 7th, 2024, the world reached a new level of ugly with the advent of the Amsterdam Tel Aviv soccer game pogrom. Yes, you heard it correctly, a pogrom. It happened because of a global intifada might be in progress. Let me start by defining both terms, pogrom and intifada. We need to start with that. A pogrom is a government-organized or sponsored riot, generally against the Jews. A somewhat romanticized version of a pogrom is the story of Fiddler on the Roof. My great-grandmother, Rachel Shimkovitz, left Russia in the late 1880s to escape the pogroms. Back then, it was already a matter of life and death. And as a result, Jews left Eastern Europe to move to Western Europe or Canada or even America. My family settled down in Paris, France. An intifada is a non-military uprising. Some people might call it a civil uprising, but since there is nothing civil about an intifada, I prefer the term non-military. There have been two official intifadas in Israel to date. The first intifada lasted from 1987 to 1993, and the second from 2000 to 2005. The word means uprising, with the implied meaning of rebellion and resistance. It has been linked to the Palestinian cause for the last 35 years, pretty much since the first intifada. It was initially meant to describe a bold but non-violent resistance, but has unfortunately morphed over the last few decades to become more aggressive and very violent. Now, today, the youth identifies with the resistance and social justice aspect of the word's original meaning, but ignores that its etymology has shifted to describe a more violent protest. Additionally, many college students are ignorant of the geopolitical situation of the Middle East. They're often being used as pawns by the radical left or radical Islamic organizations to promote their agenda of hatred of Israel and the Jews. Since October 8th, 2023, we have heard, and that's the day after the attack in Israel, we have heard the chants, globalize the intifada. To be sure, the motto wasn't born after Hamas invaded Israel and murdered 1,200 innocent Israelis, but it indeed became more popular after that time. College students all over America and in other parts of the world are rallying under the banner of a global intifada. Ignoring the implications, many gather and brandish signs with, "From the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free." Again, ignorance makes the actions very toxic. The motto being chanted is a call for the complete destruction of Israel, something that many youngsters have no clue about. Unfortunately, they end up being used by the real anti-Semites who are ready to kill Jews in 2024, as we just saw. On November 7th, 2024, the world witnessed what could be the launching of the Global Intifada. The Amsterdam Tel Aviv soccer game became a stage for the display of violent Jew hatred. One wonders if the planning was purposefully done to coincide with the 86th anniversary of Kristallnacht. To be sure, the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans were not innocent. They were chanting insulting phrases aimed at the pro-Palestinian side. And they even climbed the facade of a building to tear down a Palestinian flag. This being said, there is absolutely no moral equivalence between these acts of vandalism and the chasing and beating down of people on the streets of Amsterdam simply because they are Jews. In some cases, people were asked to show their passports to see if they were from Israel. Some media outlets were quick to claim that the attacks were a response to the Israeli fan base insulting the pro Palestinian fan base. But the attacks were way too organized and structured to have been impromptu. This was carefully planned, my friend. The events of November 7th would have been a tragedy if they were a one and done. Unfortunately, they appear to have opened the door to more violence, as the perpetrators repeated their actions on the streets of Amsterdam only days later. It's also encouraging more acts of violence against Jews. That's a fact. As in the city of Antwerp in Belgium, where shouts of Jew hunt were heard on the streets around that time. There was also another soccer game between France and Israel in Paris. And according to my local contact there, who was at the game, security was extremely tight. One man had hidden Palestinian flags under seats in the bleachers ahead of the game and pulled them out during the play, which led to a minor altercation, but nothing serious. The stadium holds 80,000 people, but was only filled with 20,000 plus 4,000 police officers and some military personnel. The streets of Paris did see some protests against Israel that night, but again, nothing as violent as the Amsterdam soccer game, which was a pogrom. Rachel O'Donoghue was spot on in the Allgemeiner article that she wrote, and she said the attacks in Amsterdam last Thursday night, reminiscent of Nazi-era pogroms, are the direct result of the Globalize the Intifada movement that anti-Israel protesters have been championing for over a year. This slogan isn't just a catchy chant, it is a blatant call for violence against Jews, mirroring the atrocities of the first and second Palestinian intifadas. Close quote. Friends, there will undoubtedly be more attacks on Jews, and many will choose to become bystanders. And in a sense, that makes them co-perpetrators. Still, just like in Amsterdam, some will open their homes to rescue and shelter endangered Jewish people. The Global Intifada has started, and it is coming to a town near you. Is your door open or closed to Jews? I believe this largely depends on the condition of our hearts. Are our hearts open or closed to the Jewish people? Will we be sheep or will we be goats? What do I mean by that? Well, Matthew 25:31 through 46. In the words of Yeshua, Jesus, and I quote, "And the king will answer and say to them, truly I say to you, to the extent that you did to one of these brothers of mine, even the least of them, you did it to me." That's Matthew verse 31:40. This parable speaks of the future time during the Great Tribulation. But the principle needs to be applied today, right now. I know the shepherd, and I want to be seen as a sheep of his flock. What about you? If your heart is in the right place, and if you want to help the Jewish people, go to shalominmessiah.com, go to the Connect button, and right there you'll see a line item when you can say, please tell me more about the network that Olivier spoke about. You can check that. And that will start a vetting process where you can be part of our network of Underground Railroad for Jews. This is where it starts, where we all organize privately, very securely, to open our homes to Jewish people in our neighborhoods around America and other parts of the world. Would you like to be part of that? Check it out, shalominmessiah.com. Connect. Check the box that says network. And we'll start the vetting process. We need you. Of course, if you want to donate to Shalom and Messiah, we can use your help as well. We are a faith-based ministry, and we appreciate every donation you can make. You can go to donate.shalominmessiah.com. Friends, I believe the Global Intifada has started, and we are going to see more pogroms against the Jews. I can't believe I'm saying this, and yet I can believe I'm saying this because I've been looking at this for 25 years, and it's not getting better. We need your help. Until next time, be blessed.